now, Honorado has been so dominant on this D.Va, accompanied by Neil.
Honorado again getting that pressure with the D.Va play as it's going to be another pick here coming out by Dudu on that Sombra play, getting Godman with also Liko getting another pick onto Aegis, not able to really use that same synergy as they continue to pressure on this point. Already 1 minute in, able to capitalize on this payload, 5-player killing streak coming out by Honorado as they now start to capture this point. Not sure if Quad Gaming is going to want to really contest this and look for a new defensive position as the payload begins to maneuver.
And we do see Godman switching over to that Widowmaker once again, trying to get that one-shot, one-kill potential. But we see how mechanically gifted base tryhards is. They're able to win every single fight against Quad Gaming purely on mechanics when it is that vanilla Overwatch with lack of ultimates. However, because of their success, they now have a Nano Blade available and a self-destruct with Neil, Alamo, and Dudu very close behind on their own ultimate charges. Aegis, though, has an EMP. This ultimate can be so destructive, and Liko is immediately hacked,
which is going to cause some problems here as they do have the Winston dive in the back, hoping to take advantage of it, but there is still a sufficient amount of healing as now the Dragon's Blade is going to be brought out, but now not finding much value out of it, but barely gets it before the remake. Leon not able to get back into it as they continue to pressure forward, hoping to get another pick here onto On the Budget before he escapes with the Winston. Not going to do so as Dudu. It does get one, now a second onto Godman as the pressure continues with the follow-up here on Honorado against it, with Dudu getting that triple follow-up onto Ponchi.
There might have been doubts about Dudu as to how long he's been playing with this team, as he had temporarily left BGH or base tryhards, but he has been outstanding. This entire matchup has another EMP available. Right now, Dudu might have even been the biggest difference for base tryhards as we do move on into Hollywood, even more with Neil starting to dive in. Here comes that EMP.
Seeing if they can isolate a few, managing to do so. Hero Fly gonna go down as well by Neil. Just consistent pressure once again, trying to see if they can use that Primal Rage by XQC on a budget. Now deep line harass as well. Honorado getting very, very far in the back line, getting DMEC, trying to see if they can survive through it to remech before they get pressured, but doesn't matter. They're managing to push this payload to the section that they needed to in that golden box of victory, allowing tryhards to claim victory.
Yes, base tryhards was able to achieve quite a quick victory on both Ilios and on Hollywood. However, this is to be expected as they are the dominant force in South American Overwatch. But right now, I have just been so impressed with Dudu so far, especially on that Sombra. There's been excellent synergy coming in from Liko and Dudu on those DPS roles, and right now Quad is a bit overwhelmed right now.
I agree with you. They're really going to have to take a moment and think about it. And, we'll let the desk even take a little bit further dive in how the synergy between Dudu and this other additional player just really synergize as we do hand it off to Panda and the rest of the panel.
Thank you so much, Rich, Katrina. Great cast and coverage of these first two maps. LaFon, we had a bit of discussion going through there as we were watching these maps ourselves. A bit of an interesting conversation, maybe not so much aligned with what you were thinking at home, ladies and gentlemen. But on Ilios, it wasn't as convincing as we had once saw. On that Lighthouse map in particular, it was very intense. On a budget, or known as Shro. Yes, that is the main tank coming in here for Quad Game. Don't get totally confused by the entire letters in his name. Was a strong outing for the team of Quad Gaming. Gave base tryhards a run for their money. LaFon, going back to that in particular in Hollywood as well that we just saw, where are Quad Gaming finding these openings? How are they opening up base tryhards, or are base tryhards just overstepping in certain situations?
I mean, one of the things to note here is that, it is Quad Gaming did get a couple of points, and they did actually basically shut out. I know they actually did shut out BTH base tryhards on that second map of Ilios on Lighthouse. But I think it is one thing to note here is that BTH has stumbled a bit. This is a team that we sort of brought up quite a bit on the desk in pre-show, and there is really good reason for that. This is a team that has a long history in South America, has done a great job, and they only trade in. Klaus leaves, of course, and Dudu returns back to the roster. Again, this is a player that did play for them last season, so it's not like they have to implement a brand new player. That being said, I'm not getting the same level of confidence or the same level of completion from BTH that I kind of expected them to have. Realize that this again, BTH are far and away the best team in the region. It was coming into the season, we were not talking about base tryhards as if they were going to lose maps. We were talking about them, as if they were going to full hold maps constantly. There was no talk of, they're gonna go 3-2 or they're gonna go 3-1. No, we're talking about them as if they were going to drop points. So they'll go, 2-1 will be the final scoreline, basically. So I'm saying, so for me, the fact that Quad Gaming is able to not only shut them out on Ilios, but then get progress on Hollywood when they were, down to the last 20 seconds or so of the map is a bit of a problem for me, I think. Quad has had moments, don't get me wrong. They are playing, Godman has showed up, Aegis has showed up, and, the rest of the team has really played around that. And I have to say, HeroFly has impressed me as well. But on the whole, I'm more concerned the fact that base tryhards just seem to be taking that last minute and that last final moment, they're stumbling just a little bit and letting Quad back in the game.
And Naori, just to branch off of that a little bit more, Quad Gaming, base tryhards, they're pulling out of these compositions a little bit different than what we're probably used to. More importantly, take yourself back to well on Ilios. We saw the solo DPS of Liku on that McCree being sped boost around with the Orisa of Neil and by Alamung on the Lucio. And then you can take all the way to Hollywood where they played the Sombra and Doomfist. Is this flexibility composition-esque style what you expected to see coming out here from base tryhards and Quad Gaming? Or do you think that just resorting back to the tried and true 3-3 composition for Quad could end up being their answer in taking their next maps and forcing out a reverse sweep? Or if not, just taking a stage. I don't want to get too ahead of myself here.
Jeez, Panda, let me answer.
I know.
So I feel like it's the opposite. I feel like the tried and tested 3-3 is probably what's going to be Quad's downfall, especially if they keep running out with that Moira. The moment they swapped that Moira to a Zenyatta, it was like a whole different team. The difference in play style is humongous. And imagine if they took that difference and put it into something that made a little bit more sense. They're running this 3-3 composition into compositions that are going to dismantle it. Doomfist Sombra, the Liko's McCree, his team was making so much space for him on well that a traditional 3-3 would not succeed, or rather would do exceptionally well against the Super McCree type comp. But on well, first and foremost, you don't want to be running the 3-3 because of all the different rotations. Added on to that, the fact that they are creating so much space for Liko to pop off and get those shots. Running that 3-3 is not what I want to be seeing from them. They need to be getting a little bit more diverse. I was really happy to see that they ran some Sombra Doomfist on Hollywood. It made a difference. But overall, they're not showing the flexibility that they need to. That is where BTH is 100% shining at the moment. I agree with Lafon that it seems like they're not playing at their utmost best at the moment, but they are at the moment massively outskilling Quad purely based on the fact that they are so much more flexible.
Well, I actually want to go on that point a little bit. I actually want to see Quad Gaming just go back to dive. Honestly, like I know that sounds
we all
like
feel that way.
I know it sounds like heresy in this current day and age where Goats is the strongest composition, but Quad has looked better on dive compositions than they have on this 3-3 comp. We talk about that second stage of Ilios. They weren't running 3-3. They were running the Pharah. They were running the Widowmaker and Hanzo at points. Of course, there was a couple of swaps as Aegis did go from one to the other. I want to see that composition come from them. It looks like it's more of a comfort pick, and forcing a composition you're not good at is not the way to win. 3-3 is the strongest comp. It is the best composition right now in the current meta, but I feel like Quad Gaming doesn't fully understand the rotations that are involved in it, and as a result, they kind of struggle. When they switch off to the things they're a little bit more comfortable with, they seem to be a little bit better at getting those brawls, getting those moments from their players who seem to be stronger on things that they've practiced longer. So I actually want them to go against the grain here and pick up that dive composition again, see what it brings them.
I think we'd all agree that we would love to see a different type of compositions coming out from a multitude of teams. I mean, we've been seeing so much heavy armor comps, heavy tank compositions, the 3-3 played around in a multitude of regions. But we'll find out after this short break if Quad Gaming have been taking in this download, if it's fully complete, if not halfway through, if their flexibility chain can come and flex onto base tryhards, or if base tryhards continue on their stampede through South American Overwatch contenders. We will be back at the end of this break with your casters and the third map.
Hello and welcome back, as we have already seen two matches go in favor of tryhards, as we're going to see if it's going to be Quad Gaming starting to reevaluate, and even as some of the desks said, will they choose to go with this typical 3-3 meta that we're seeing? Katrina, how do you think it's going to be going into this? Do you think they'll want to opt for that and try and go into this next match?
I think it's going to be a difficult decision for them to make because even if they do decide to swap off of that triple tank, triple support composition, I do not think that that will be able to really foil just how dominant base tryhards have been. And if they do take the mirror matchup, base tryhards has just been so dominant mechanically. And I suppose the more vanilla Overwatch fights at the beginning of rounds where there are no ultimates. So they're caught in between a rock and a hard place. Quad. They just want to be able to make it through this game, make it to next week, and honestly are counting their blessings that they did win that first match against Ints in week 1.
And even further, it's really just honestly, with the synergy that we've seen. I mean, it's not to
Mm.
say that Quad is playing badly, especially coming against this type of
Oh
team like
no.
tryhards. I mean, they're doing very, very well, I feel, coming together, trying to change it up, and they're willing to take that little bit of, I guess, maybe like an outside of their comfort pick to try and contest against it, even as they wanted to mirror that Psalm. As now we are going to just take a look at this next one, which is going to be selected actually is Hanamura for the assault map that we're going into. So, with this matchup, I'm thinking we may look to also see some more Doomfist play. Do you think that we'll be able to see that coming out from this team as well?
I definitely think so, especially on point B defense. I think Doomfist is so phenomenal for point B. There's a lot of different places for him to create space, use his verticality to get back up to that upper level that we often see teams trying to reinitiate their attacks with. It's going to be vital for Quad to be able to gain such a huge ultimate advantage to win these fights, as we did see on Hollywood Point A. Once they were able to get that 5 ultimate to, I would say 0 at that time, difference in ultimate economy, they were guaranteed pretty much the team win. They need to be able to regain all of those ultimates in order to take both control points. So I anticipate we won't even see a snowball coming in from Quad, but we might see a couple of different attempts that could lead them to be getting both control points if they are able to bait out a couple of ultimates from base tryhards.
And that's going to be the crucial thing. We've seen them, as you said, generate those ultimates. They have the advantage. They do a few dry pushes on that first, attempting control point or the activated point that, if they can maybe now, let's say, play it a little bit more cautiously in how much they want to use, because yes, they use the ultimates to their advantage that they generate and outnumber the ultimate economy, but the problem is I think they're also committing too many. I think they maybe overlap in their synergy, not using it to I think their fullest potential, which can allow that momentum to continue maneuvering forward. So hopefully we'll be able to see a little bit of reservation on those ultimate usage as well. So it's kind of like you said, that rock and a hard place of how they want to play this moving forward into this map.
And I do remember what LaFon was saying on the desk regarding the rotations of that Ghost composition. It's so valuable for you to be able to stagger your ultimates and even your abilities, especially in that Ghost composition, to get so much impact. But first, let's see what we're going to be seeing in the gorgeous map of Hanamura. I love the cherry blossoms here. But right now, it does look like we will be seeing base tryhards on first defense with Neil and Honorado on their trusty Winston and Diva. And I do not blame Dudu and Liko at all for going back to that Sombra Doomfist that was so impactful
Not at all.
on Hollywood. I mean, it was gorgeous play, great synergy. You can tell that this team is very familiar with one another.
And again, it's going to be a lot of pressure residing on the shoulders of Aegis here and, Godman trying to see if they can utilize this not as traditional that we've seen, with the Hanzo Widowmaker, that one pick shot, the massive amounts of damage to shred through that shield, and as they look to come out here with a decent amount of opportunity with this composition. Actually, they'll have a switch too. Godman actually going to go on the Brigitte now.
Yes, Leon was able to get all of that early scouting information on that Sombra. So now, interestingly enough, we will see Aegis on the Tracer with Godman, who was so successful on the Pharah, being enabled by HeroFly on that Mercy. So this could be a really good opportunity for Quad to be able to dislodge Calero and Alamo and really focus on those vulnerable supports. But Honorado takes them out first.
Just doing a great job jumping onto Godman quickly on that Pharah play. It was either going to be Diva or Dudu with that hack onto the Pharah as they continue to try and harass Aegis in the back with the Tracer, but going to go down by the Zenyatta, taken out by Alamang as they now reset with a nice minute already worn down on the clock.
I was a little surprised Aegis decided to take that Tracer route. Oftentimes you will see Tracers go on the left side of the point, close to where Liko is residing right now, and just try to move base tryhards back to that control area. However, just because of how mobile base tryhards composition is right now, I'm not sure if this Tracer will be able to have that impact even.
And the Pharmacy composition trying to go overhead to reposition for some damage, but going to go down once again. D.Va just dominating those skies as they continue to try and survive through it. Numbers advantage. Here's going to be another kill, even though HeroFly managed to get Godman back online with the res. Still looking to capture onto this point. Few members from Quad Gaming trying to contest against it, but one by one they get picked off here with tryhards just dominating once again as they have almost 5 ultimates now build up, going to actually be 6 in a very short amount of time.
And speaking of ultimate charge, I really do want Godman to switch over to something other than that Pharah. Even though it was so successful on Ilios, he's only at 35% ultimate charge. Godman has been trying to manipulate the surfaces and all of the different walls of Hanamura to be able to avoid all of those sniping and from even Alamo on that Zenyatta, but he's just been called out and followed by Honorado this entire time, who uses his self-destruct.
On the high ground, trying to get a pick here. Not going to be able to gain much, though, as they do still have Aegis in the back trying to contest. Still keeping that Pharah play, though. Overhead pulse bomb going to get one on the support, but again, the main fight still holding on this front doorway positioning, able to allow tryhards to just pick them off once again. The backline aggression coming out by Aegis was not enough to force a reposition, and now they've got 1 minute and 30 seconds once again to try and see if they're going to keep this Pharah play, which it looks like they're going to consistently keep on it.
That early pick was so exciting for Aegis. If you want to get rid of one person in this composition of base, it is Calero, who does have that nano boost available. Most likely going to go to Liko, who has just been destroying the backline. And to be honest, even the front line of Quad Gaming, he seems to be everywhere. Godman is about to have this rocket barrage, though, coming in. It'll be vital for the D.Va Honorado to block it.
Oh, and that's going to be a defense matrix completely absorbing a majority of it, looking for more, not gaining anything. The Meteor Strike now taking out HeroFly as the team of Quad Gaming starts to turn this into their favor, getting Liko as well. They're starting to take this point now. So much going on as it's going to be Dudu trying to at least get some engagement, but really not gaining much out of it as they're going to have to force back and generate some more time here on this push by Quad Gaming.
And that's the exact huge ultimate investment that Quad needs to even win a single control point coming in. We do see some swaps with Aegis on the McCree. I do love this hero. Godman will be switching over to the Brigitte. I think Aegis on the McCree, though, will be vital against Juju and Liko, not just for that flashbang ability, but so if he is able to charge such a quick Deadeye as Liko was able to in the beginning of Ilios, I think that could be the greatest counter for base tryhards with so many squishy heroes on their side.
Immediate engagement with the sound barrier coming out by Quad Gaming, trying to withstand that incoming pressure as Liko is far in the back, having to reposition. That nano boost going to come out by Calero, not really gaining too much out of it, forcing them away. The EMP, though, by Dudu might find a few, does, as they now look to exploit it. Repositioning in the back coming out by Liko with the follow-up by the rest of tryhards as they completely shut down the team of Quad Gaming, looking to jump off the edge and now try to regroup here with a good just under 4 minutes still to go. So they have some time to play around, though.
They do have some time, and HeroFly and Aegis are both getting quite close to their own ultimates, but oh, look at how aggressive Dudu is being, just terrorizing the supports of Quad. Bit aggressive coming in, but it's just enough for this team to hesitate, get in their brains a little bit more. Alamo does have that vital transcendence, so if any major damage does come in from Quad does not have an Ana to use an anti-nade to deny all of that transcendence healing. So base tryhards can be very comfortable with the utility that they have at this current moment.
Liko, along with the tanks, though, being so hyper-aggressive right now on tryhards with Dudu in the back, looking to harass and just really see if they can get some nice pick damage here and trying to get that EMP quickly. 15 health, barely able to survive through it, as they're about to have 5 ultimates going into this, and maybe even the 6th if Dudu can get some more percentage.
I would not be shocked if Dudu was able to charge it very quickly, but HeroFly takes out Alamo and Zen-on-Zen violence right here. This is the opportunity for Quad Gaming to shine, but with the spawn advantage the defense has, they need to move quickly.
Primal Rage going to be forced out as well, getting that pick here onto Godman. The Transcendence coming out as well with Meteor Strike getting Aegis. Just consistent ultimate usage right now by tryhards. Going to still keep a few, though, managing to turn it back around, but the harass by XQC in the back line, not going to gain too much here, will be picked off by that D.Va play. Again, Micro Rockets shredding through the health, as now you do see 4 ultimates, as we talked about. Quad Gaming looking to generate these, hoping to have some momentum here onto this second capture point to really claim victory here.
Yes, but base tryhards has been using such patience right now with their own ultimate economy, and Dudu only needs to use a single EMP to obliterate the side of Quad, who have been very close together, as if they are running that heavy tank, triple support composition with that Reinhardt and Zarya. They haven't been really using a lot of mobility on quad, even though they do have that Zeke and Winston.
Oh no, and that's going to be Neil getting picked off early, getting stunned in the back. The pressure now on the high ground, forcing out the Transcendence as well. Alamong not going to be able to survive through it for too much longer, as he's going to have to force the retreat. But Dudu looking for the immediate EMP, but the self-destruct able to zone it back. Regaining position now, Leon on the low ground, trying to regroup as up top finally uses the EMP, looking to follow up onto these supports with some great pressure and harass coming out by Honorado, as they have another pick coming out by Liko onto Aegis, forcing them back 1 minute and 30 seconds. They're going to have to try and fall back, regroup, and use this last opportunity, and they only truly have Godman's Brigitte rally at their disposal.
Yes, that was a very frustrating push for Quad Gaming, who invested so many ultimates to get not a single tick. There is, as you said, 1 minute remaining, and base tryhards does have that self-destruct, will have Doomfist Meteor Strike and the Primal Rage coming in from Neil, all devastating ultimates that have taken so many kills on Quad. The extra armor coming in from Godman will be important, especially for Hero Fly's survivability, but right now as Dudu is starting to scout the backline, I think he's going to aim for a very quick hack onto that Zenyatta.
Maneuvering on that upper right-hand position here by the team of Quad Gaming from their side, as they do find the engagement with that protection coming out by Honorado, as well as Neil giving some pressure and Dudu having to get away. But so much damage coming in on Quad Gaming. They are just being whittled away, slowly tucked away in this corner. Self-destruct now going to come out in the back. Not going to gain too much though. But Liko getting the double kill onto Aegis and Hero Fly as the... Ooh, now they're just going to have to reset. Yep, that's going to be it. Oh! Able to survive though. Oh, just in time.
All right, that was a little bit of showing off, I think, there, but Liko has earned that right completely. But once again, let's reset a little bit. Take a look at Quad's ultimate economy. There's 15 seconds. I'm not sure if they'll even be able to touch point, but they do have the utility to be able to make the most of their next push, should they be able to get to control point B.
Dudu just trying to harass there to see if they can prevent them from even getting on the point. Transcendence going to be forced, seeing if they can creak it into overtime and managing to do so. Liko now forcing the Meteor Strike in the back, wanting to get these supports and taking out the McCree by Aegis, managing to do so with the follow-up on that low ground position. Still a lot of pressure though by Quad Gaming, trying to generate that Primal Rage. Does manage to get it before getting eliminated, as it's going to be Honorado getting that pressure still in the back line. Self-destruct, trying to claim a kill, not going to get it. Ponchi getting that sound barrier as well, giving some protection by Quad Gaming in this intense moment. They are trying to do everything they can, regardless of tryhards having that respawn advantage. Self-destruct overhead, managing to get XQC on a budget, following up with the mech kill onto Leon, as they do hold before they reach the second point completion.
What a beautiful self-destruct coming in there from Honorado, right on top of the Winston shield. They make sure they break it at the last second, getting both of the D-mech and the kill on XQC on a budget. Well played for base tryhards, and Quad Gaming did have some excellent gameplay coming in. They did coordinate their ultimates well. It's just when you lose all of those ultimates and in a single EMP from Dudu, I mean, it's almost impossible to defeat base tryhards here.
And again, you know, with that respawn advantage on these maps specifically, it can just become very difficult, even with an ultimate economy that they had going into it, as tryhards were able to generate their own over the course of a fight. It's still difficult to even try and claim that second point. It just causes so much problem for the aggressive team. If you do not have enough in your back pocket to really try and contest against them, they're easily able to buy just enough time and hold on that point B, which we saw here. Even though they had a great engage by Quad Gaming, you still saw the perseverance coming up by tryhards, buying enough time, getting the respawn advantage, and coming back in the fight, preventing them from actually claiming it.
Yes, and let's see what Quad Gaming, though, is going to be attempting to hold on their defense with Godman on the Sombra and Aegis, who I think right now is the standout player of Quad on that Widowmaker. Ponchi is going to be on the Mercy to give all of that extra damage boost to Aegis, so right now things could be quite scary for Alamo and Calero. Those healers on base tryhards with one single headshot can make base tryhards completely reset their entire push. But with that triple tank, triple support composition, they have so much sustain, especially with Calero on the Moira. So much raw power coming in.
It's also going to be a lot on Aegis' shoulders here with that Widowmaker to try and find the sightline between this very heavy shield protection, as now they're actually going to look to regroup here in the back line and try and change their complete composition here, with Liko coming out on the Genji, Neil switching to the Winston, Dudu onto the Tracer, and Calero onto the Zenyatta.
Oh, I like this change quite a bit, with Dudu especially on the Tracer, going to be able to get in the back lines, take out Hero Fly, and Aegis' life is going to be so much more difficult with the dive coming into him almost directly. Here it comes!
Aegis getting so pressed. Able to survive through it, though. Leon doing a great job with a peel to prevent that early pick as they're looking to follow up even further. XQC on a budget, getting very low, along with Godman, barely able to survive. Leon gonna get demeched as well as they continue to cause a lot of pressure, though. Seeing that Winston play in the back, giving some harass onto those supports due to getting taken down as well by HeroFly, and they're looking really just to keep on to this point. Having that Zenyatta play in the back, using the Discord up. Rez gonna barely come out in time, keeping XQC on a budget alive to at least buy some time here, but I think the damage has already been done. They've been able to force them away. The shots coming in by Aegis, going to go down by Alamon, and that's just, here we go. They're going to be able to capture this first point.
Yes, these teams are going back and forth very quickly with these kills, but what's happening here is base tryhards is able to rely on their tank Honorado, on that diva, has probably been the most consistent player on this entire team so far, and you can tell, based on the ultimate charge coming up, we're most likely going to have a snowball coming in. There's only one tick necessary for base tryhards, and Dudu has a pulse bomb. With Liko having a Dragon Blade right now, I think that this is going to be the last push of Hanamura.
There's going to be a lot of Vegas trying to get that flashbang to shut down that Dragon Blade when it does come out, but now Dudu's looking for that opportunity to use the pulse bomb, trying to sneak into the back line as the harass does happen on the high ground. Valkyrie going to be forced, trying to give the healing onto the high ground to XQC on a budget, along with Leon with a nice pick here onto Dudu before that pulse bomb really gains too much out of it, only gaining one on Hero. Still having the high ground self-destruct going to be dropped down now by tryhards in the back with the assistance of the Winston positioning on Neil as they now get the primal rage forced. Leon dropping down, Transcendent's going to be forced out as well, though, as the EMP comes out in addition by Godman. Nobody really able to contest on the point since the entire team on both sides is really staggered in their positioning. Now getting Liko with the Dragon Blade, trying to get as many as possible with Ponchi going down, a follow-up by Dudu as they do get a double onto XQC on a budget along with Godman. Regrouping now on Rado, getting some assistance on the diva, trying to harass Dudu, managing to force them away, claiming this first point and claiming victory on Hanamura.
Base tryhards now has that 3-0 lead, most likely going to be going to the 4-0 at the end of this match, but base tryhards, what shocks me and impresses me about this team is that no matter how many players they lose, you can't cut them out of a team fight.
Not at all.
It's it's absolutely shocking to see how much that Liko and Dudu especially can do on those DPS heroes. The patience coming in with Dudu with that Dragon Blade, and Hadarado and Neil being able to support them so effectively every single push. I feel like during that last fight, at least 3 members of base tryhards died, and they still were able to come out on top. It's absolutely incredible what this team is able to do.
And again, the switch onto the McCree coming out from Quad Gaming, Aegis just looking to adjust, have that flashbang potentially for the stun. They found it onto Liko on the Genji play after the Dragon Blade, even Dudu on the Pulse Bomb, but they were just coming up a little bit too short. They had the idea, they had the adjustments in mind to respond to it, but again, it's really just that play was just outdone. Like, they were able to be overwhelmed by the gameplay coming out by tryhards. And I mean, even on that first point where you saw a lot of contests coming out, there were few numbers on both teams with the 3-3 that was remaining still contesting against each other. They were able to just outlast them, buying enough time to maneuver and snowball, as we saw slightly with their composition.
If any team was going to make a how to dive video, base tryhards needs to be the one, because it looks as if there's only one brain sharing all of these. It's remarkable to see how Neil initiates with Liko following up, Honorado. I mean, Calero, I'm just gushing right now, Richard. I'm sorry, but it's overwhelming to see how well synergized this team is, even during moments of difficulty where Aegis gets those headshots, those flashbangs. They're able to re-coordinate and go for the victory even more so. So Quad Gaming, I think they will be taking this over to Dorado most likely to capitalize on all of the sniper sightlines, but you can't deny the power of base tryhards dive to counter that.
And I have to say though, I agree that they do have a very well put together dive composition, but the peel on that initial start for Aegis was very good. I really liked how they communicated on that. They acknowledged that it was going to happen after that switch. You didn't see the engage happen quickly. They knew that they were taking their time to alter 4 members of their team comp coming out by tryhard. So they knew that they were waiting for something. They saw the immediate dive comp, and Leon knew right away, I have to protect my Widowmaker, and they were able to at least do that. And again, I think they have responsiveness. They have the coordination. It's just really trying to outmaneuver that aggressive play by tryhards, which they're doing so well and just flourishing in that composition.
Tryhards is dictating the pace, the tempo, everything in this match, I believe, is in tryhards' control.
And, you know, as we do look to go into the next map, we will take a brief moment before getting this underway at Route 66, as we will be back in just a moment. On the attacking side, it will be Quad Gaming with tryhards on the defensive position, trying to prevent this payload from maneuvering forward, as we're now going to get this underway with, again, some interesting composition play. It is going to be that triple tank, triple support composition by Quad Gaming to see if they can dominate here.
Yes, and I am most curious to see Alamo on that Soldier 76. Right now, there's a single healer in Calero on that Ana for base tryhard. So we're seeing triple DPS, double tank, and single healer composition coming in from the defense. Not something you see every day in this triple tank, triple support meta.
No, it's really not, and I think that they're doing a great job here on the defensive side, exploiting this triple tank, triple support composition as they're getting a little bit overextended. You see Leon now on the high ground trying to get some shots in the back onto Alamang, as they're still doing a great job zoning and keeping space right now. Dudu gonna get taken down though, as it is gonna force tryhards to really have to retreat right now to save their numbers that they have remaining.
Yes, but they're about to have a nano blade in about 1 second coming in, and I can anticipate that Liko is going to be able to shred through the entire backline of Quad Gaming. There is no ultimates on the side of Quad to even counter this.
And the Dragon Blade comes out in the back, trying to see if they can get the pick on the supports. The Brig looking for the stun, not going to get it. The dash resets coming out here by Liko on the Genji, able to get 3, completely dominating this triple composition by Quads, as they are going to have to force a retreat. And what a play coming out by Liko.
This is going to be exactly what base tryhards is going to use to kill every single team fight. They're going to be relying on Calero to be able to build that nano boost so rapidly, because he is the only support in this entire composition. Dudu now has an EMP. I anticipate that they will be going for this alongside Honorado's self-destruct.
Oh, and that's going to be 4 members of the team of Quad Gaming overwhelmed by it. Here comes the Tactical Visor on the high ground. Helix Rocket to follow up, as that is a quad. Leon gets the pick, but too much damage is already done, completely clearing away this team of Quad Gaming. And now they're looking to switch onto the Winston play.
This is Ultimate Rotation 101, and right now Quad Gaming, though, has an opportunity to show their own skill, as Aegis is about to have his own Graviton Surge. But let's look again at Dudu's EMP. Beautiful coming in, allowing Alamo to just go through. There's no self-defense matrix. There is no shield to stop him from dominating.
And that's what's going to force that switch from the Ryan to the Winston. They need that harass in the back, as you do see the dive on the high ground. Graviton now available by Aegis, getting some pressure now onto Dudu, starting to fall back as they manage to get some pressure here. 1 minute and 30 seconds, still having some ultimates available. Hero Fly on the Moira, hoping to change it up just slightly, as the Graviton is almost going to be used. The self-destruct, though, coming out high overhead by Honorado, as they don't gain anything out of it. Primal Rage going to be forced as well by Neil. Dragon Blade once again, though, coming out, trying to find that same triple kill they found before, but the Graviton's going to isolate him, preventing him from gaining anything more, as Ponchi gets the kill. Still applying pressure on the high ground now, trying to find Alamang on the upper position, but will manage to get XQC on the budget taken down. Leon getting DMAxed, now starting to go in favor of tryhards. Quad Gaming only having just under 1 minute remaining, as they have literally only the Primal Rage coming up shortly against the soon-to-be 3 ultimate economy for tryhards.
Both teams invested so many ultimates in that fight, pretty much with little impact on both sides, because let's see, Ponchi, Hero Fly, Godman, all use their support ultimates at the exact same time. So you have that coalescence, that sound barrier, all that extra armor. And now we do get the switches coming in. So it's just completely ineffective coming in from Quad. These tryhards does come in with this EMP, and once again, here comes that tactical visor.
Another quad group with a tactical combination. The synergy again between the two. Not going to be Dudu and Liko this time. And now they're needing to get onto the payload as they're moving it. Oh, Godman almost able to get it with the Tracer play as they were overwhelming on the front line with the synergy now with Dudu and Alamong. But again, 5 seconds remaining. Don't know if they'll be able to make it in time after finally getting that pressure as Quad Gaming will manage to get on it with the Primal Rage Winston. Oh, XQC on a budget, able to buy some time here. Hopefully going to survive through it as Aegis now trying to pressure with the Genji themselves. Overtime still ticking away again, trying to make sure that they can stay close enough to the payload pick coming out. Double kill. Here comes the Blade looking for a triple, but the Primal Rage claims it first. Neil getting Hero Fly as this is just the last tail end of Quad Gaming trying to survive. Last member on the point. Overtime shredding away as they look to hold before they reach the first checkpoint.
I mean, to end with the team kill, that is base tryhard style going on this entire matchup. Very impressive. Not even a single tick being able to be picked up by Quad Gaming, most likely due to those last second switches. But I mean, I was so excited. I was almost hoping to see that C9 on the point coming in with just so much sneakiness with Goodman on that Tracer. That would have been a joy for me to watch.
That would have been great if Godman did get it. Just was so close, but they were able. Once they got enough damage, though, coming out from Dudu's EMP and Alamong, that was just too much. I mean, honestly, you see the synergy switching, though. It's now tryhards using Dodo and Alamong versus Dodo and Lyco, which we saw earlier on the Doomfist Sombra, but the EMP allowing that damage to just completely rain from overhead. Again, still with not enough harass coming out by XQC on the budget with the Winston. It was just not following through, unfortunately. They tried, but it just couldn't connect.
So I'm very curious to see what Quad Gaming is coming out with, and I hope that they stick with this Mei right now, with Godman going to be able to just deal with all of the coordinated plays coming in from base tryhards. Freeze Liko ideally on a Dragon Blade. Let's take a look at those comics in that Route 66 while we take a look at what base tryhards is most likely going to run. We do see Calero as well teasing that Mei pick, but that's most likely going to change as there are no healers currently on the composition of base tryhards. Hero Fly and Ponchi will be reliable for their healing for Quad Gaming, with Hero Fly on that Moira going to be able to avoid a lot of Liko and Dudu's dives due to that fade ability. But right now, there isn't even a single... the victory condition for base tryhards is so slim, so small. They will be able to make it to that point quite quickly.
And now they have the lower position here with Reinhardt as they're going to try and get some pressure, the Wrecking Ball, but here comes the Mei, able to get some nice, separation in the team comp, and that's really what they're looking to have here. The harass is going to be optional for them as they maneuver forward, but they're getting kind of bottlenecked here. You see the pressure still coming out by Quad Gaming, that wall just separating them away. As they're, it's a little bit unorthodox in how they're playing. Wrecking Ball looking to consistently harass in the back with Neil. Now Calero actually going to switch onto the Ana. So there will be that support alteration again, using that wall to prevent the incoming damage. Not really going to stay on it as we just, continue to see this harass, I guess, by Godman.
Yes, and Calero will be able to get so many impactful anti-nades if he's able to get that into this small tunnel with this entire room. That will negate all of Hero Fly's ability as Moira, but look, just a coalescence being available in 1 second will be vital for Quad Gaming to keep up their accountability, but Godman falls so quickly.
And now the Dragon Blade is up. This is a difficult time. If they are clustered in this tight corridor, they will not be able to... Ooh, they actually might be able to follow up onto it, but the shield's coming out by Zarya, consistently giving some protection. Neil taking out Aegis, Liko getting another follow-up here on a budget as they just finally start to stagger them away. The Mei play was very interesting, but now you do see tryhards getting the ultimate economy, starting to force them back out of that tight choke point and claiming a lot of kills here.
Yes, and XQC on a budget does have an Earth Shatter available, with Leon coming closer and closer to that self-destruct. However, Calero has that nano boost almost ready for this next fight. There's so many resources for base tryhards. Dudu's especially having that EMP will mean that this fight will potentially be the last.
They're going to use it now just behind the sign, seeing if they can gain value with the self-destruct just overhead. Not going to claim the kill, though. Alamog now moving forward, getting the kill onto Aegis as they do have some pressure, but you do see Godman on the high ground trying to use that Brigitte along with the Lucio positioning. There's a nice dash kill, though, coming out by Liko to take them down. Self-destruct in return now by Quad Gaming, making sure to dash out of the way as Alamog is also going to go down. Having still a few meters left to go. I don't know if Quad Gaming is going to be able to hold on to it for a moment longer. Doomfist play coming out with only a meter left to go and managing to do it, and that does make it a 4-0 victory for tryhards against Quad Gaming.
Right now, Base Tryhards has a completely perfect map record going into South American Contenders, and you can see why. Given the rotation of ultimates, abilities, there's just so much versatility that you see with Base Tryhards. However, Quad Gaming did showcase quite a bit of skill, especially when running Aegis on that Widowmaker. So there is not too much to be upset for on the side of Quad, as they were up against the Heroes, the #1 team of South American Contenders.
And even with the May play, it was one of those unique things that we saw, and we're going to let the Desk take that as well to really digest the last match that we did have here in addition to Hanamura. So Desk, if you can take it away, Pokemon Panda, it's all yours.
I am picking up what you are putting down, casters. Great job as always, Rich and Katrina. Thank you for that cast. Well, it was in fact an Overwatch match, and I mean that in an 0-4 standpoint. Quad Gaming did not take any maps off of Base Tryhard. Base Tryhards are still continuing on their decimation through this region and this group, sitting up at the top of the perfect map score victory. Naori, on the side of Quad Gaming, though, they definitely had their bright spots, didn't they?
Hell yeah, they did. I'd like to say that May was one of them. I don't know how much but it didn't work, man. Bit of an ugu. I would say that their brightest stars have been XQC on a budget on that main tank, creating a hell of a lot of space for his whole team. And of course, Aegis, when he was eventually on the Widow, the few times, like the 2 or 3 times we saw him on Widow, he really popped off. So if we're going to talk about where Quad can improve, they need to be working around those 2 players. Find a way to get those 2 players creating space for each other in a composition that is not 3-3. Because Quad, I hate to break it to you, 3-3 does not work for you. So yeah, it is the dominant meta, but the dominant meta only matters if you play that meta or that composition correctly. If the composition itself doesn't suit your players, your team, your play style, rather play heroes that you know that you're going to dominate on, like you did with Widow. Widow on Ilios, when you played it on Lighthouse, it worked. You won that 100-0. So my little tidbit of advice, make sure that you're swapping up your compositions. Don't just run goats because it's a strong composition. Run what's strong for you.
Something we have in common from the Desk and the casters. We want to see more of Aegis's Widow. Make it happen, please. It was so fun to watch that headshot on Hollywood on a doo-doo out of stealth. That was amazing. But LaFon, as we go back and we look at Base Tryhards, it's more important to note that, yes, they are on a tear through South American region and more importantly through the 2018 Contenders season. Base Tryhards, it's kind of imperative that they don't look sloppy in these fights. It's more important for them to look as clean and as best as they possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things to note here is that Base Tryhards, you know, the end goal for them is not Contenders. The end goal for them is beyond Overwatch League even, perhaps. So I think for Base Tryhards, you need to have that level of execution, that level of cleanliness, that level of team play that is going to lead you to that point. So for me, Base Tryhards, it's all about, yeah, they're doing a really good job in South American Contenders. Absolutely. I think they're great players. I just want to see better things from them because I know what they want to get to. And I think for me, yes, Base Tryhards only dropped 3 points today. Like they were 1 stage on Ilios, 1 point on Hanamura, and 1 point on Hollywood. But that's 1 point per map too many for me. I think there were moments at the end of every stage where I was just like, there's a mistake they're making here, just a little bit. They're still doing really, really well. I don't want to take that away from them, but you got to clean it up just that little bit. And for me, Base Tryhards, there's moments where they're falling apart. And considering what their goals are, that's not something you want to see.
That's absolutely right. And this is the Overwatch Path to Pro, of course, Broadcast.gg's English coverage of the South American region. And if you'd like to join in on the action as well, don't forget to sign up for Open Division to your own region, and then you can get your chance to climb that path to pro yourself. And maybe we'll even see you on one of these broadcasts. We're going to take a short break here, ladies and gentlemen. And when we come back, we'll have your second match of the day. It's going to be Conferna Esports versus the Sakino Nation. We'll be back after this.
I do it